The United States of America has the world's largest prison population and the highest per capita incarceration rate in the entire world. Why is that, and what can we do to change that? I'm Allison Dorsey, and this is Allie's Super Short Show, where we talk about current events and other topics that are close to my heart. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Please comment. I want to know your opinions. Also, remember to share and subscribe if you haven't. Over the past few decades, the United States has built more jails and prisons than colleges. There are now more than 5,000 prisons across all 50 states. Nearly 2.2 million U.S. citizens are behind bars. To break that down, that's about 1 in 99 adults. In an interview with Vice, former President Barack Obama said, "The United States accounts for 5% of the world's population, and we account for 25% of the world's inmates." Let that sink in for a minute. 1/4 of the entire world's prison population is in the United States of America. Why is that? How did this happen? So back in the 60s, our country fell into economic stagnation. Inner city ghettos got bigger, multiple cities verged on bankruptcy, and a violent crime wave broke out nationwide. The people blamed this on the civil rights movement. Richard Nixon became president in 1969, and it's no secret that he was a racist. On numerous occasions has he said the term Negro bastards. He's also said so many other racist things towards multiple groups. Don't even get me started on his anti-Semitism. One of Nixon's top advisors said that the war on drugs was created as a political tool to fight blacks and hippies, in an interview he did with Harper magazine years later. John Elrickman said, "The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people." He said, "We knew we couldn't make it illegal to either be against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. And they did. They locked up the U.S. population at increasing rates for decades. In 1994, Congress went so far as to explicitly encourage states to be tougher on crime. A bill known as the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act made it so that the more people a state imprisoned, the more federal funds it received. 28 states, as well as Washington, D.C., passed tougher sentencing laws as a result. This was during Bill Clinton's administration. It was the largest expansion of prison population in American history. These laws, introduced in the Nixon era and redoubled in the Clinton era, created a massive and lopsided prison system. 1 in 17 white men will go to prison in their lifetime. Compare that with 1 in 3 black men. That's 6 times as much. Out of the 2.2 million people in the American correctional system, about 1 million are black. Think about it this way. There are more American black men in prison than there are prisoners in the entirety of Canada, England, and 7 other countries combined. Black people make up only about 12% of the U.S. population, but we make up nearly half of all prisoners. According to the FBI, in 2012, nearly 70% of all individuals arrested were white, and 28% were black. If that's the ratio of arrests, then why is the prison population so firmly disproportionate? I have a lot of theories on this, ranging from unequal lawyer access to bail hardships on poor families to the morality of individual judges and lawyers. According to The Guardian, out of all lawyers in the US, 4.8% of them are black. An even smaller percent will go on to be judges. I'm not suggesting that there is inherent racism in every individual white judge, but considering that there are so few black judges and so many black prisoners, maybe, possibly, that might be institutionalized racism. A new study has found that black defendants are even given longer sentences, about 4.8 months more than similar offenders of other races. Is that institutionalized racism? Maybe. After sentencing, prisoners can earn more time by breaking the rules or fighting. That is, if they don't also get thrown into solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is a topic for another day. It deserves its own whole video. It deserves a whole TV show. Okay, anyways, getting off topic. Another serious problem with the prison system is the wrongful conviction rate. In my Roe v. Wade episode, I touched briefly on it. You can click the card. I'll put it up somewhere to watch that if you haven't. 4.1 or 1 in 25 defendants sentenced to death in the United States are later proven innocent. The number of false convictions for nonviolent crimes are virtually unknowable for a few reasons. For one, advocacy groups are hard-pressed for money and time, so they're only able to focus on life and death sentences. So minor crimes like robberies, drug possessions, and etc. go unexamined. Many people accused of minor crimes are even encouraged to just plead guilty and get the few months sentence over with instead of having a several years long drawn-out court battle. The average time served for people exonerated is more than 9 years. If you really want to help, which I do encourage you to help, I've put a link in the description so that you can donate directly to help free innocent Americans. We keep locking away our people who could have been contributing members to society. Nonviolent drug offenders make up the most of the population. Since 1970, the prison population has increased 700%. Why is that when the crime rates are actually dropping? The U.S. murder rate last year hit the lowest level it's been since before 1970. The number of serious crimes committed nationwide fell for an 8th year in a row, according to the FBI. If you don't believe me, of course, I've put all of my facts and sources in the link below. Just click if you don't believe me. It's all there. If crime nationwide is at an all-time low, why does America still have a giant prison system? It's because prisons make money. Private prisons are like any other for-profit business. They're trying to make a profit. Empty beds don't make money, so private prison corporations are lobbying Congress for favorable contracts to keep the prison anywhere from 70 to 97% full at all times. So how do we keep these prisons full? Well, long prison sentences for non-violent crimes. Federal law gives 5 years without the possibility of parole for just 3.5 ounces of heroin or 5 grams of crack. You can do 10 years for possession for less than 2 ounces of crack. On the other hand, to get 5 years for cocaine, a stereotypically white party drug, a person has to be caught with 500 grams. That is 100 times more than the quantity of crack, a stereotypically black ghetto drug. Guys, they're literally the same drug. The only difference is a little bit of baking soda and some heat. It's the same drug. So why are the sentences so different? In New York, the Rockefeller anti-drug laws provide for mandatory prison sentence of 15 years to life for possession of just 4 ounces of any illegal drug. That includes pot. 13 states have 3-strike laws, which is where a person will get life in prison after being convicted of 3 felonies. Life in prison for non-violent drug possession. Life in prison for an addiction. Once they get to prison, it's not all scratching tallies on the walls and working out like you see on TV. Many of our favorite brands use prison labor. Brands like Starbucks and Procter & Gamble use prisons to package products. If you watch Orange is the New Black, then you might not be surprised to learn that Victoria's Secret has prisoners sewing their panties and building their bras. You might think that it's a good thing to give prisoners jobs. Well, it would be if they actually got paid. The average minimum wage per day is a measly 86 cents. Yeah, per day. That's not even enough to buy a candy bar. According to this commissary price list from 2016, a Milky Way cost prisoners 90 cents. Imagine working your butt off for 8 to 10 hours to not even earn enough to buy yourself a candy bar. In private jails, prisoners even have to pay their own rent. In Florida, inmates can be charged up to $50 a day, leaving prisoners in unsurmountable debt once they come out. How does that even make any sense, since the same prison is getting paid by the state for every prisoner? So now that I've thoroughly depressed you with all of the facts, I'll tell you how to fix this. Go vote. Get involved. Write letters to your local congressman. Get passionate. Be heard. Public opinion is changing on the American prison industrial complex. Every day, more Americans are having conversations about reform over punishment. Every year, more states are legalizing marijuana. The state of California is even scrubbing through convictions and overturning marijuana-related convictions from before legalization. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you learned something, I want you to hit that like button and share this video. Leave a comment. I want to know your opinions. What do you think we can do to fix the prison industrial complex? Let me know if I've missed any points about why it's so messed up. This was Allie's Super Short Show. I'm Allison Dorsey. I make videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much for watching this video.